¿Cómo están? Pues aquí su entrenadora personal, Gia.
An LA baby with fitness influencer Gia Fey. With millions of followers known as Body By Gia, she promotes holistic wellness, transforming not just bodies, but lives. Gia's approach goes beyond fitness. It's a journey that blends mindful movement, nutrition, and mental well-being. Our podcast covers her very organic start and the following evolution. Her supportive Latina fans, how body positivity became her niche, and best of all, how to monetize on social media, including talk of an incredibly lucrative partnership on the TikTok shop. We chat on collaborations. Did she just say, never meet your idol?
It was my dream to meet her. And when I met her, she just, don't ever meet your heroes.
And how to deal with negativity online. With Gia, mind and body converge for an empowering transformation. Body by Gia, where wellness meets wisdom. That is seriously how to pass the power, and we're doing it one episode at a time. We are here in LA with Gia Fey, Body by Gia. Welcome. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to have this dialogue.
I saw your YouTube and your TikTok, and your positivity is just, it illuminates off of you.
It's been a journey, and I'm really happy that I've been able to impact so many lives throughout the last 12 years. Yeah.
12 years.
Yes.
So I read online that this all started when you moved to Japan. And I think it was around 2011?
Yes, 2011. I had moved to Japan, and I was already a fitness coach. I had done personal training for a couple years after college, and then I got married, and my husband got sent to Japan. And so I went out there with him, but I didn't want to leave my clients, so I just started creating videos on Facebook for them to follow while I was gone, and that turned into, millions of people later. Yeah.
Okay, so 2011 you started on Facebook, and
Yes.
then when was it that you went
2012 was on YouTube.
And it's
Yeah.
because you saw just an exponential growth in viewers, and so you were like, let's see what else I can do with this?
Well, I started noticing some of my clients weren't on Facebook. And so somebody else had told me about YouTube. And at the time, I had no idea what YouTube was. People were like, it's this website. You type in what you want to see and it comes up. I swear, I thought it was magic. But I then started making videos on YouTube just because it was easier for me to send a link.
Well, I think that's what I find most fascinating is that because now in social media, all you hear is authenticity, be organic. And yours was incredibly organic.
Yeah, I mean, my clients become, my best friends. They're women that I build a relationship with, and I felt so, I just felt like I didn't want them to stop on their, their fitness goals. And so, yeah, I just started to create those videos to have them to continue to work out and have me still continue to guide them.
And how many followers do you have now on YouTube?
645, yeah. 645.
And where else are you producing content?
On TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
And where's your biggest audience?
My biggest audience was Facebook, Facebook.
Okay. And how many followers do you have there?
On 2 million.
2 million. Mm-hmm. And TikTok?
TikTok, I have 410,000, I think I checked last.
And Instagram?
I have around 400,000 as well.
And out of those platforms, is there one that you can kind of make the most money on?
Honestly, not really. I mean, there's been periods in my life where one was pulling in more. At the beginning, it was a lot YouTube brand partnerships, AdSense on YouTube, and then Instagram started to blow up. So then it was a lot of brand partnerships on Instagram, and now TikTok is the thing. So I've had periods in the last 12 years where they've all kind of brought me different sources of income, but it's like kind of takes turns. That's why they say really you should be everywhere. Mm-hmm. Because you just never know where the market's going to go. And right now, TikTok has the most eyeballs. So brands are definitely going towards more on TikTok right now. But I still have probably my top two right now are TikTok and Instagram as far as brand partnerships. And I did start TikTok Shop.
TikTok tell me about
Shop
that.
is so big.
They're promoting it so much now.
They're promoting it so much. So I was with a brand. I had a brand partnership for the last 6 months, and I saw it grow exponentially. We got to maybe close to $1 million that I sold for them in about 5.5 months, almost 6 months. And it was just do TikTok shop live, like live videos. So that's another way now. It's like I used to do pre-recorded content and now it's live and talk about authenticity. You really have to be authentic because people on live stream, they'll see if you're being yourself or it's just an act.
And so the brand you partnered with, it was something with fitness, so it made sense?
It was with athleisure wear, so it did make sense. You know, what is it? The crossbodies that you use to like hiking and stuff like that. Sweats, velours, some leggings as well, hoodies. It's a lot of work, but I've seen obviously the return on investment with my time, and it's just fun. It's products that I love, and I'm having so much fun doing. Everything that's the nice thing is the last 12 years, it's like things continue to just evolve, right? I'm a content creator, but I'm also a consumer because I like to see how people are consuming the different apps. And yeah, Instagram, I find myself more bored than on TikTok Shop. Or TikTok just in general, the app, it shows me things that I want to see. Yeah.
And then what about Threads?
Oh my God, I know Threads. I have not become a fan there. I haven't figured out how to monetize either. So not that I go on an app to monetize directly, right? If I go on an app, like when I first got on TikTok, it wasn't something that I'm like, oh, how do I monetize? It was just like, oh, this is fun. I could be myself. I can post all different parts of my life. It wasn't just fitness, right? Like my Instagram is very fitness. YouTube is very fitness. TikTok, they actually wanted you to it wasn't so niche, People will still say niches always grow, right? The riches are in the niches. But I feel like TikTok, there's just like, I can show more of my life. And now I'm able to show like my fashion sense. TikTok just in general, like I love how it's fun for me. And Threads, I haven't figured it out.
Fail so far.
Yeah.
But I think when you were talking about the niche thing, I do think because your niche was kind of exercise and fitness and you build a fan base.
Yes.
And they are loyal.
Yes.
And now you were able to expand into all those other areas with an existing fan base.
Yeah.
Right. And also on the FYP and all that, the For You page, you're going to come up and even grow the fan base even more.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what worked with that brand I was working with the last 6 months. People came on and they're like, hey, Body by Gia, that's you. Like, what are you selling? I'll buy whatever you're selling because they trust me. They know I'm not going to just bring anything to the market. Everything that I've ever done in social media, it has to come from my heart. It has to come from something that I believe strongly in.
Is it copyrighted, Body by Gia?
It is, yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course it is,
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about being bilingual and how much that has enhanced and made things just open more doors?
I mean, it's funny because I used to fight my dad growing up about speaking Spanish because I'm first generation, right? My parents came from Mexico. But I went to a school, South Pasadena High School, and it was mostly Caucasians. And so I didn't like to speak Spanish growing up. Because, there was a lot of discriminating comments from friends. So Spanish really was something that my dad forced me to speak. And he always used to tell me, speak Spanish, it's going to open up doors. And of course, as a teenager, you're like, ugh, Dad, it's just not cool. But I continued to speak Spanish in my YouTube channel. When I first started, I started in English because my clients were in Los Angeles. They spoke English. But then I just tried a Spanish video and that video went viral. And it was because of that video that I launched my platform, Body by Gia. After that, I came out with like a booty program in Spanish and all these series in Spanish on YouTube. That led me to now host morning segments on Telemundo, Univision. I was on a Spanish radio called El Show de Piolín. Like all these doors opened up because I kept my Spanish roots. And honestly, I'm happy that I did now because it keeps me connected to my culture. And that's really important for me.
Does your father remind you?
Oh, yeah. He's like, I told you, you had to speak Spanish. And so now I'm like, okay, I'm so grateful, Dad, because it really did open up doors. Yeah.
Well, I live in Asia and my daughters have grown up speaking Mandarin.
Wow, that's amazing.
But there are moments where they're a bit like you. But,
yeah.
Now that they're getting older, they understand that there are great opportunities when you're able to use more than one language. And also they can talk about me and their father and we don't know what they're saying.
That's amazing. And honestly, that's another language I wish I would have learned is like Mandarin, because now with China really taking over the business, I mean, TikTok, the company I was working with, Chinese, and they would always be speaking Chinese. And that's a really big market that if you were able to connect with them with their language, that's like saying, hey, I respect your culture. Like, I learned your language. So that could open up so many doors.
Well, that's why
for
we
your
moved to
kids.
Asia. And truthfully, when we were thinking about, what is the best gift you can give to your children? And, many people have ideas on that, but we thought for them to grow up in Asia, know Asia, and have the ability to speak Mandarin would really serve them well in life.
Totally.
And of late, there's a lot of China bashing, but
Yeah.
I still think for them in their lifetimes, it will serve them. So
Yeah.
I'll tell them you agree.
I agree.
I know too that body positivity is a big part of your platform, and I wonder, how did that become a part of your niche?
Man, well, when I started on YouTube, I didn't have the typical trainer body. And just when I was a personal trainer prior to YouTube, I was in the gyms and I never really had a typical hypermuscular six pack. Like, that just wasn't my body. So when I got onto YouTube and I started making videos, my clients actually gave me the name Curvy Girls Fitness. I would teach classes around my community as well. And they were like, your classes are Curvy Girl Fitness, because I did focus on thighs and glutes and, getting a smaller waistline. So they kind of coined it, and it eventually turned into Curvy Girls Fitness. And as I started to learn to embrace my body, it was just more and more of the message that was that was connected to my heart that I would communicate with. Learning to accept your body, learning to embrace your curves, and exercising because you love your body, not because you hate it and you want to change it.
And as you've grown and built that massive following, I know you're sometimes probably tempted. How do you stay authentic? How do you stay true to yourself?
I know when I'm not being authentic because inside my spirit just kind of like, it's just like I don't know, it's just something that even when I was working with that brand, after a couple months, it started to feel like so salesy. And it was all about, do the script and make sure you're selling every second of the live. And for me, it wasn't authentic anymore. And so I canceled that contract because it didn't feel authentic to me anymore. It was like, this started out as fun, but like the more and more, and this is just an example with this company, it's like the more and more they were just really micromanaging, and it didn't feel authentic for myself. Like, I walked away and it was a really, what is the word? Lucrative, what I was making. So I walked away because it just didn't feel right anymore.
I saw an interview. This is a little bit off topic, but I saw an interview and you were talking about how you live. You have all these mood boards. Yeah. And they really inspire you and help with your energy. And I thought I don't have any mood boards, but I was like, maybe I need a mood board.
I mean, they're just helpful. It's things that are inspiring to me, visions that I like to, I'm really big with like vision boards every year. It's kind of like the goals that I look for and the life that I've literally manifested the life that I've wanted to live through these vision boards. So for me, it's like really being able to see something makes a difference.
Mm-hmm. Like, what would one look like?
For me, it was like, going to Paris and Greece has been something on my bucket list. And so I had put that on my vision board of me in front of the Eiffel Tower with my sister. And so it's just like a vision of like having that good family time. Like, family is really, really important to me. And just like my numbers, on social media, it was like the opportunities that I wanted, like walking red carpets. Like, I would put a picture of a woman walking down a red carpet or coming out in a television show. And I ended up doing TV also. I worked on a women's talk show called Get It Girl on LATV, which is the Latin alternative television network. And so just things like that. And they really do come true.
Well, I'm feeling a little shame that I don't have a mood board, but I do keep, like, if I read something, a quote or something that is meaningful, I will like put it by the bathroom or put it somewhere where I will see it so I can think about it and it can inspire me. But I did have a picture of Michelle Yeoh, the actress. I had a picture of her because, she has the best biceps in the world. And I had it in my bathroom on the mirror for probably 3 years. And I finally took it down and I was like, I'm never going to have Michelle Yeoh's biceps. It doesn't matter what I do, but now I'm okay with mine.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
I started boxing. That was the answer.
Oh, that should get you. I mean, also muscle after 35 years old takes so long to build. Like, it does take time. So to get arms like that, it probably is going to take you consistently 2 years of doing boxing. But boxing will give you those arms.
Well, fortunately, I've exercised my entire life.
Yeah.
So it was a matter of, I guess, just firming up. And but I do think the boxing helps. You were talking before about the big paycheck. So when you first began Facebook and YouTube, how did you see the evolution of monetizing your work? And for those creators who want to know, how to make money on social media. Can you do a crash course?
Yes. I mean, there's so many ways to make money on social media now. When I started 12 years ago, it was brand partnerships. AdSense eventually came, but brand partnerships were probably the biggest way to make money back then. Now it's brand partnerships. It is AdSense on YouTube. TikTok also pays you for views. It's like their creator beta program. TikTok Shop affiliate, right? Posting products. You get commissions on that. Facebook has huge AdSense revenue.
Really?
Oh yeah. Facebook, I mean, you're looking at 15,000 a month sometimes, like if you're posting consistently. Wow. And that's not really, I mean, I had a team posting for me, and 4 or 5 videos a day, you're looking at about $15,000 just on Facebook ads.
Can I just ask on
Yes.
that? Is it because Facebook has such older demographic, they have to pay people more to post on it? I'm just wondering why
they're just
paying
competing with YouTube. Everyone's always going to try to compete with YouTube. You know, that's why even YouTube Shorts now, you get paid on YouTube Shorts as well. So it's really like, I mean, you can really diversify your income stream when it comes to social media so that people are not overwhelmed. You know, try not to do everything all at once. You know, do the daily action steps, right? What's your goal, right? I want to make some things from somewhere, but you don't really know where it's going to come from. So I would say focus on like the posting daily, like, and focus on like one platform, like full, you know, your 100% of your effort is going to be to one platform, but then also do the other, you know, at least 2 to 3 other platforms to see which one will hit. And then you can start to redirect your energy depending on how much income is coming from where. Like for a while, my Facebook was, I mean, I was making money sleeping. I was like doing nothing. Wow. And so I just stopped kind of posting on YouTube. And then Instagram for a while, it was just brand partnerships, 2 to 3 brand partnerships a month. You know, with my follower account, 400,000 followers, I'm getting like $4,000 to $6,000 per post. And so that, you know, 2 to 3 product endorsements a month, like you're just kind of, you know, and obviously like my goal now is to make like 100,000 a month, but like why? Because I want to provide more jobs. I want to be able to make a higher impact for people, but comfortably. I mean, social media, it's like a lot of people are like, how do you make 10,000 a month? It seems so hard for a lot of people. And that was hard for me when I first started. Like I remember thinking like, how do I make $4,000 a month? You know, that was enough to get me, you know, to get me by as far as like paying my rent and living on my own. But eventually, once you get to that 10K, you realize how easy it is to do that on socials a month.
And is it because you're spending 100% of your time on that and nothing else?
Yes.
Yes.
It is my full time.
But I'm saying for those people who maybe are having a hard time, it's because they don't have 100% of their time to put into it. And so it's kind of an ad hoc thing, which makes it much more difficult.
I mean, I started my YouTube channel doing it in the middle of my day. So I was a personal trainer. I was a fitness instructor, spinning instructor. I would teach 2 to 3 classes in the morning, train a private client, come home, shoot, edit. I would do like 2 or 3 hours. After I would shoot in the middle of the day, I would come back, or I would go back at night to the studio, teach more classes, train more people. So you have to make it a priority. It's simple, but it's not easy.
You have
because
to have
the discipline that it takes. It's the same with your fitness goals, right? Everybody wants a 6-pack. Everybody wants a nice fit body, but they're not willing to do the work. And you can tell somebody, I mean, I've given free consultation to people that are like, I want to be a social media influencer. How do I do it? And I honestly got tired of doing it. I now charge. If you really are serious, you're going to pay me, because I can give people the exact strategy. Do this, Monday through Friday. They won't do it. Most people are afraid to get in front of the camera. Most people cannot be authentic in front of a camera. You put a camera up in front of their face, they're like, so, you know what I mean? So it takes time. But I mean, when I've coached people, I'm like, just do a 15-second video. But it's just like fitness. It's like, you know, you have to eat right. You know, you have to exercise, but you don't do it. So I feel like internally, it's like fear is so paralyzing that it keeps people from doing it. But there's so many opportunities on social media right now, and it's going to continue. You know, it's not going anywhere.
I know you've had a lot of incredible collaborations. I mean, I saw Halle Berry, Cardi B. I mean, you know, some big names out there, but you also have a huge following. So what's the magic on collaborations and partnerships when you're growing?
the right talent manager, the right networks. You know, I started to create networks with Univision and Telemundo, and it was for my charity work with the American Heart Association that I made those connections, right? And then once you start to grow, you do get talent managers to reach out to you. Those opportunities came from my talent manager. So those always help. It's just really your network is your net worth. You've heard that, I'm sure, right? It really is true.
And how big is your team now?
Well, I mean, I have my talent manager I still have, and then I have attorneys now because you need that as you get bigger too.
Right, because you've got to control the IP, right?
Yes, the IP, and people will come try to sue you. And
sue you for what?
If people try to sue you for crazy things, I'll just say that.
Tell me, what's the craziest? Come on.
I mean, I was sued last year for my first time, and oh my goodness, it's just people see that you have millions of followers, and when you Google Gia Fey, it says I'm worth 120 million. I'm not. Not yet, at least.
Not yet.
But just recently, I mean, not to get into the details, it was all just dismissed recently, but it was expensive. And that's why I have a legal team now to protect my IP. Somebody was claiming ownership over some IP that I had, and it wasn't true, but they were just trying to shake me down for money. So it was like 2 years of harassment, just pay us $20,000 and we'll go away. And I'm like, but I don't owe you anything. And so it was
I'd rather spend more.
Yeah, I spent more. I spent more on my attorneys because it just felt so wrong. I'm like, no, this is like extortion. So
I thought you were going to say someone sued you because like their booty got too big or...
No. When you start to get big, it's good to have a legal team because as you start to grow, you just never know. Yeah. I mean, I remember there was this one speaker that I saw at an event at the We All Grow. It's a Latina network event. And she was like, when you made it, when you're getting sued. And I never understood that. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's so true. I mean, it's sad, right? People sue people that are wealthy. And not that like I said, I'm not worth $120 million, but, I do well. And so people just want... as you get bigger, like, I think that's one thing that one of my close friends was like, you, like, everything. She saw what I went through with the lawsuit. It was just awful. And she was like, you make me scared to become an influencer because, as you get bigger, people are there's very not nice people out there and people are hurting right now financially. And so you just never know. Like, look what happened to Gwyneth Paltrow, like, with the ski incident. It's like, they're like, oh, she's famous. Let's shake her down for some money. And she was like, no. So, yeah, it could be...
she styled her way through that courtroom, did she not?
Yeah. She was so classy,
like
though.
That whole, what is it, quiet luxury?
Yeah.
That was all anybody could talk about, but now it's like mob wife look.
Yeah.
We've evolved.
Yeah.
I know as a content creator, there's nothing more important than engaging with the audience. And I wonder, how do you do that? I mean, I hear it all the time, and I know because I'm very small time compared to you, but I think engagement is difficult. So do you have any kind of magic formula for engagement?
I mean, I think the best way to engage is on live stream. I have seen it best. I saw it with Facebook. I've seen it with YouTube. I've seen it with Instagram, TikTok. The more you build that relationship, the more they're inclined to engage when you post something that they're like, oh, I know she does this, or I know this, or they're more inclined to engage. And obviously responding to comments is like really, really big. But I feel like engagement through live stream, I feel like it's like the best way to really get people to want to engage with you.
On which platform is best?
TikTok, probably both of the top two. YouTube, I would say maybe I'll say a top three. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
And I assume in your career, you've had negativity that's been put out there in the comments and all that kind of stuff. So how do you deal with that? Do you respond? Do you...
Well,
I bet your tribe responds, probably. I know. And if anybody says anything mean... Yeah. So often people who follow me will come to my defense and I don't even have to, and it makes me...
That happens too, but therapy.
Like, what's the worst thing? Can you say, like, what you had to deal with? Just like
when I started to gain weight, like, on my YouTube channel, obviously, like, my body started to change. I was 20s when I started the YouTube channel. I just turned 40, and in my 30s, my body started... Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you. But yeah, it starts to get to you. I'm not going to lie and say it doesn't get to you. I just... therapy has been helpful. I also got into therapy during the lawsuit just because it was just so much, like, mentally they were just attacking me and my individuality and my identity. But I also just feel like, you really have to have thick skin to do it. So, it's like everybody does want to do it, but not everybody can. because of what you have to go through with that hate and the fear of what your friends are going to say. When I first started my YouTube channel, my parents were like, what are you doing? I had friends, close friends. They're like, only celebrities really make it on YouTube. Like, what are you doing? Like, and people that I didn't really know would comment like, oh, now she's trying to be famous. Somebody that I might have met one time, oh, look, she's trying to be famous. So if you're afraid of criticism, like, it is so hard to make it. Mm-hmm. And from the beginning, I just felt called to do it. Because again, I didn't start to get famous. I started because I was like, my clients, they have to work out while I'm traveling. Because my ex was a professional basketball player that was here with the Lakers. But then we went to Japan and China. And like, I just started because I that's all I cared about. So the criticism came, but it was like, I had a mission. I was like, no, I got to help my girls. Like, and I know how hard it is to find a trainer that you really, really love, that you really connect with, It's like, that's a big part of your fitness journey. If you can find a good trainer or a good fitness class, a community, you're like, you're in, you're like, you're 80% there, So yeah, the criticism, like, it's hard. And people that's, at least again, that's what I've seen with people that have come to me and are like, how do I do it? And I'll give them action steps. And at the end of the day, it's just like, they're so embarrassed. Like, what are people going to say? So there's no magic formula. It's like, if you can just not care what other people think, you'll make it.
And
that's so hard.
That's so hard because everybody ultimately cares.
Yeah.
And I think because it is so anonymous and people can just say things they would never say to your face, that it can get so nasty and so ugly. Yeah. You were talking about how it started because you had the clients, and I feel like if you want to get on social media, it should be for a reason like that, or because you have a mission or there's something you want to promote. I mean, it can't just be to get famous.
Yeah.
Because
your why it's just like when I work with my fitness clients, I'm like when I used to work with clients that their why to work, to hire me as a trainer was, I just want to look good in a bikini.
That's
and
okay.
and that is, but what I noticed with those clients is they always gave up. They didn't put enough effort. And so what I coined, I don't know if anyone else has said this, but I have said this, and it's shallow desire creates shallow effort. I've said that, but again, I came up with it, but I don't know if maybe past, right? I don't want to completely quote it, but I've noticed that girls' whys, right? This goes the same for fitness. I always use fitness analogies because I'm really familiar with them, right? But fitness, as much as starting social media, because like I said, I've done now consulting for social media now. And I've noticed the why. If the why is just, oh, I want to be famous, it's the same as a girl who tells me, oh, I just want to look good in a bikini. Versus the girls that's like, I really want to lose weight because I've lost my husband's losing his attraction to me. I feel so insecure, and I feel I don't have enough energy for my kids. Like, that's why I want to work out, right? And then that girl that's like, I want to make an impact. I have this message that I feel will change women's lives. I have this message that's calling me in my heart. Do you see how that's different versus like, I want to get on social media? Because I've heard it literally like, oh, I want to be famous. I want to be famous on Instagram, and like, you have to help me. And like, those are the girls that I've coached for free, and they never do what I ask them to do as far as the action steps. Because it's shallow desire. There has to be like a real why, or else you're going to fall off. Because if it's not like, if your why is not so deep ingrained in your soul, the days that you feel unmotivated, those are the days that why will feed that.
I hear you. And let me just say, I agree, because ultimately I do want to look good in a bikini.
Yeah. And that's good to have it, but that can't be your only why.
At the end of the day, because I have a daughter who's 20 and a daughter who's 15, I want to take care of me so that when I'm older, I'm still going to be kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to look good.
And also you want to set the example, right? Like with my sister, she has 2 girls. I'm like, you have to be the example. Kids don't do as you say, they do as you do.
So true.
So with my sister, I'm like, work out, because you're setting an example for the girls.
Yeah.
They're going to see that. It's like, wow, mom took care of herself. Mom was exercising. Like, it sticks with you. That's what stuck with me. My mom was a dancer. My dad played soccer, and then eventually became a cyclist, right? Like long 4-hour, 5-hour, like hundreds of miles. And so I saw my parents do it. So it just became a natural thing for me to do it.
Well, it must be working, because my daughter, who's in New York at Columbia, gets up, goes to the gym before her classes in the morning. So
See, and because she saw mom do it. And like that in itself is a really good why. I mean, you're setting an example for your girls. That should be like, that probably is the driving factor.
fabulous. I've done something right in life.
Yeah, you've probably done a lot.
I just wanted to ask you if 40 is the new 20. You said you turned 40 recently. How do you feel about getting older? Because there's so much weight and baggage that goes on women as they age. And after a while, I mean, people kind of just want you to go away, you know, just to disappear and let the young pretty somethings continue on. So
I mean, Katy Perry, Jennifer Lopez, these are women in their now 40s and 50s. And I feel like women nowadays, they're, you know, it's just now people are embracing age a little bit different now because social media also changed the beauty standards. I think television was very like actresses were only their 20s, 30s, and then they kind of, you know, Marilyn Monroe, early 30s, she was already disappearing. She was gorgeous, right? I think social media has changed that landscape. I really feel that like because of social media, women now are embracing, you know, because you're gonna be relatable to someone. I feel like now I'm embracing it. I know at first I was thinking that too. I was like, oh my gosh, like as I get older, are the brand deals gonna stop? Like, but no, I have found that brands are looking for women my age because that is their ideal avatar now. So at the end of the day,
the brand deals are increasing, people.
Yes.
I love it. But do you think partly it's changed because women now, as they age, are doing more to help with their aesthetics so that they don't look their age?
I've seen some 20-year-olds now that look like, girl, you've been partying way too much, right? And I mean, not even just myself, but I know other millennials like myself that look very close to some of these 25-year-olds. And I think it's because the stress also for the younger kids, they're growing up so different. They're almost aging faster than millennials. I don't know if you've seen that trend on TikTok. Like they talk about this a lot, about how millennials are looking younger than, what is it, Gen Z? Gen Zs, because the world is so different and they're so stressed out now to see how the world is like right now.
Can you tell us, is there one project that you've been a part of that has that exceeded your expectations?
When I worked with the American Heart Association, we hosted a heart walk at the Pasadena Rose Bowl, and I didn't expect such a big turnout. And there was about like 10,000 people from the community that came in, and majority of it was Latino. Because, you know, on YouTube, I know hundreds of thousands of people are watching me, but you don't ever get to see the faces. And I think that moment of like, wow, like the Latinos really are like, Gia, like you're our girl. Like we don't really have like a lot of representation in anything on anywhere, you know, like Hollywood, social media, like now that's starting to create more, but like the representation, I realized how much that matters. And then recently, like I said, that contract with the TikTok shop.
Making so much money.
Yes, making so much money. But I realized it wasn't just people were watching, they saw themselves in me, right? It's like that Latin representation, women that look like me. This is why like Selena Quintanilla was so big. It's just like Latinas in Hollywood have always been, and even in Mexico, all the novellas, it's women that look like you, girl. Blonde hair, blue eyes. And I'm like, I don't see myself in that. And so I feel like that's been the most rewarding thing, is to have other girls see themselves in me and be like, wow. And then I was getting DMs about like, oh my God, I looked up to you, like your confidence, like, and these are all girls that look like me.
Is there a dream content creator that you would love to do a collaboration with?
Well, it was Jennifer Lopez. It was my dream to meet her and shoot content with Jennifer Lopez. When I met her, I talked about this in a video on TikTok and it went viral. It was like, don't ever meet your heroes.
Oh no, I love J-Lo.
I know, so do I. So did I. I mean, I would talk about it on every television, and I don't want this to be, I don't bash women at all. It was just like, she comes off so kind in interviews. And I mean, maybe it was just because it was just kind of like influencers. And I know Hollywood and influencers are still like you guys want to be as famous. Like, I don't know. There's just this like weird energy. And I've noticed that with like,
it's like establishment versus this
new media thing, right? Even though they use us to promote all their movies, right? That was my dream collaboration. So I can't say now that I have another dream collaboration, because that one was it. And it was just really...
That makes me so sad.
Yeah, I was really sad after that. Sad. Yeah. Yeah, she's gorgeous in person though. Cardi B was at this event too. She was amazing. And that wasn't like a dream collaboration, but probably, you know what? I'll say this now. A dream collaboration would be with like Kim Kardashian. I'm such a Kardashian fan, you know? Like they're just their whole vibe, their whole, you know, their woman empowerment and owning their sexuality. I love all that.
But don't you feel like they're part of the reason that women have tried to morph their bodies
Yes.
into things that
But again,
aren't possible,
it goes
waist
back.
trainers
It goes
and-
back to the easily influenced. People are easily influenced, but at their core, they're women in business.
Yeah.
They know how to take. You know, they know how to use their assets.
Yes, I got it. Yeah.
So at their core, it's still like it's what capitalism is, right? Like men have been doing it forever, and so they're just kind of replicating it. And yeah, they're influencing women. You know, they are changing the beauty standards, of course. And they went from being curvy and now they're skinny. And so that's a whole nother thing. Now Ozempic is growing because I'm like, you know, so yes, they have obviously there is some bad to their influence, but at the core, it's women in business and they're using the same tools that men have been using since America became America.
So Kim, you need to talk to
Kim
Gia.
K.
I've loved our conversation. My last question for you then is, where do you see yourself at 60?
I see myself at 60, hopefully building, you know, a company that I could leave to my nieces as a legacy. I really want to be able to provide so many jobs for women, and including my nieces. I want to leave that legacy to them. So at 60, I'd like it to be like having it run by itself and me.
How old are the nieces now?
They're 12.
Okay.
It's the oldest, yeah.
And the final question is, if you had a piece of advice for an aspiring creator, what's the most important thing for them to do?
I think the most important thing for an aspiring creator is to figure out their why. If you can figure out your why, the do is pretty much easy after that.
Well, Gia has definitely figured out her why, and she continues to inspire us because of that. And I'm grateful to have you here, and I hope that you will keep on keeping on and passing the power.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey, Power Tribe. Thanks for watching, listening, and yes, subscribing. Hopefully, we've elevated your day, since that's our aim on Pass the Power. Available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Recording and exploring content creation in LA with Gush Cloud for this new season was nothing short of epic, both entertaining and enlightening. I hope you agree. Or not. Let me know how you feel for real. Your feedback fuels our journey. Drop me an email at pp@paigeparker.com. If you want more behind-the-scenes magic, follow at Paige Parker on Instagram and TikTok. And please visit gushcloud.com for more information on my production partner. Let's keep the good vibes flowing while we pass the power, one episode at a time.